and welcome back to another episode of Automotivated. And I'm really excited because I'm here with Frank Dragoni, VP of Partnerships, Corporate Partnerships, but you've really been here since the very beginning.
That is correct. So I've been here about 6 years, 6.5 years. When we started, we had 5 employees, and now here we are, a little over 50 employees.
It's crazy. And now you're always on the road, whether it's Bolt-On University, checking out shops, different trade shows. So you know what you're talking about, and you know a lot of the challenges that shop owners have.
That is correct. So, one of the things here at Bolt-On we're trying to help shops with is to manage car count or increase car count.
Yep.
And also maximize the customers you have, right? Can we get as much dollar volume and services sold on each visit? One of the things that we've realized over the course of a couple of years is the average vehicle owner goes to a shop 3 to 4 times a year for regardless of what service, whether it be an oil change or a tire rotation. But at our shops or at our customer shops, they only see that customer about 1.5 times per year. So what can we do to help those shops get an extra visit or 2 per year per vehicle?
Absolutely. And I think it all comes down to, what I've always been so passionate about when it comes to Bolt-On Technology is the whole entire team's really dedicated to helping grow the shops. So we know you can either grow the shop by adding more vehicles to your shop, growing your car count, and then, like you said, increasing the amount of services and the average repair order for every car that you have come into your shop.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we want to maximize everything, right? Some weeks or some months, you're going to have a higher car count and maybe a lower average repair order.
Sure.
Some months you might have a lower car count and a higher repair order. How can we balance everything out?
Absolutely.
One of the things shops face every day is certain shops know how many cars per day, based on the dollar volume they do, that they need to do as a break-even point. And when we have days that we fall below that, it hurts us.
Sure.
So what we want to try to do is make up that dollar volume. But when we increase or we get more than we can handle, it makes stress in the shop.
Absolutely. So, all right, if we're breaking down increasing our average repair order first, what are some things that you can do to make the most out of the vehicles that you have coming to your shop to help increase what they may initially be coming in for?
Sure. So the key to all this is transparency, trust. Customers feel like when they're going to a repair shop, they're going to be taken for a ride, and we don't want anyone to feel that way. And education about your vehicle is key. I look at myself personally, I don't know all the major components of my car. And if a shop owner was to educate me about maintenance and explain to me that if I visit a shop a couple times a year and took care of some simple things, it would cost me a lot less per year to maintain my car.
Sure.
What customers typically do, or the vehicle owners, is they wait for something to break, and then all of a sudden it's a large bill and they're not prepared. So maintenance is the key. Educate our customers, let them know that multiple visits per year for maintenance items like filters and fluids and oil changes will then reduce the cost of your upkeep on your car per year.
Absolutely. And that's what makes a digital vehicle inspection so important, because you have photos, you have videos, and again, me looking at my car, if someone says, okay, you have a cracked belt, right? I'll understand it a lot more if I see those cracks in the belt, because then I'm able to make an educated decision on what I'm going to pay for with my vehicle. And I'm more empowered to do so because I understand, like you said, I'm not being taken for a ride, and I feel confident in what I'm paying money for, not just relying on, okay, I don't know what's going on, but it's been told that I need everything.
Yeah, and some of the things that we educate our shop owners and service advisors at the university class that we do, and we do those about 6 or 7 times a year, is really how to interact with your customers. And the power of digital inspection and showing a customer something that's wrong with their car. And think about it. Us as Americans or human beings, when we hear something, we retain probably 10 or 15% of what we hear. Yet when we see something, our retainage is 60, 70%.
Absolutely.
So when your customer's not in the shop and you want to show them what's wrong with the car, the way it's always been is we picked up the phone, we tried to explain everything. And we could never understand why our customers didn't buy as much as we wanted to, or they were a little more reluctant to buy services. But now, if you're not in our shop chain and we can send you a full color report with everything that's going on with your car.
Absolutely.
And we have detailed notes and things that are recommended. At that point, you just call back in the shop and we can kind of go over everything if you have any questions. And that level of trust and transparency is what's helped shop owners that have gone from a paper inspection world to a digital part of the world increase their average repair sometimes 25, 30, 40%.
Absolutely. And then another, excuse me, another product that we have is Welcome Station Kiosk. So we're talking all about the communication that you can have in your shop with your customers. But Welcome Station Kiosk also helps you upsell those customers just as they're checking in on their own based on weather recommendations. Can you talk a little bit to that?
Yeah, I mean, there again, we get back to the training we do.
Yep.
The key with maximizing every customer's visit, if we have customers that are making appointments via the phone, we should always, as shop owners or service advisors, be talking about recommended services, things that we maybe recommended on the last visit that the customer did not take care of. A customer is more likely to have those services performed when we talk about them before they come in, instead of if we waiting till they come in, right? Because think about it. If you need a tire, Shane, the last time you came in 2 months ago, and we didn't remind you, and all of a sudden you come in the morning of, and you're prepared to get an oil change, and you're thinking, okay, I'm going to be in and out in an hour, and it's going to be about a $70 or $80 ticket, and all of a sudden the shop owner says, oh, Shane, don't forget those 2 tires that we recommended last time. Now you're like, oh, that's right.
Yeah.
And how much were those tires? Oh, it's going to be $400. Well, a lot of times customers get caught off guard, and they're not ready to make that purchasing decision. The beauty of the kiosk is the customer comes in, and what we don't want to do is we're not taking away the interaction our shop owners have with the customers.
That's important.
Is, think about all the different industries, the airline industry, everyone's using kiosks now. And this will allow service advisors and shop owners who get real busy in the morning to allow their customers to check in and buy them some time. And for a new customer, who better to give you their information than the customer themselves?
Exactly.
And when the customer checks in on the kiosk, all that information goes right back into our shop management system. So there's no errors, there's no mistakes. The kiosk also, for returning customers, looks at things like you said, like weather, previously recommended services, the season or time of the year, and we allow the shop to put certain upsell items based on seasons and weathers and things like that. So they're just reminders for the customer. It doesn't mean the customer has to do it. It's not a hard-pressed sell to the customer. They're just reminders. Hey, Shana, winter's coming up. Should we check your heater or cooling system?
Yes.
How about your tires? Things that are important for those seasons.
Absolutely. All right, so we talked a little bit about how we can raise that repair order cost, but then looking at getting more cars into your shop, how do we increase that car count?
Well, we're fortunate up here with some of our software that we can help with that.
Yes.
So a lot of our shops that are part of coaching groups or have attended the university, are being taught to exit schedule. The customer's here today, they're leaving. Do we know when their next services are due? Should we set that next appointment? I mean, think about it. Doctors and dentists and hair salons have been doing it for 20 years.
Absolutely.
And doctors and dentists, we all know, always overbook. So when we go to the dentist, chances are there's 2 8 o'clock appointments and one of us waits. And the reason they do that is because if one of those 8 o'clock appointments cancels, they still have a slot filled. So we want to use a lot of the same practices or best practices in the auto industry, right? We know how many cars we can handle per day. Set the next appointment. What this will do is now take the average vehicle that visits our shops that 1.5 times per year I spoke about, and we might get an extra visit per year.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't seem like a lot, but when you think about how many customers you see over the course of a year, it could be thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars of business, which is huge. But the key with exit schedule is you have to communicate with the customer. If you don't tell the customer they have a future appointment, when that time comes, they're going to forget about it. So, we have technology that will text them automated reminders a week before their appointment is due. We have the ability, before the customer leaves today, to send them a link where they can download the next appointment right to their cell phone calendar. So there's a lot of things we have to help shop owners manage that process so it doesn't become so manual.
Absolutely. And I think that also goes back to the whole idea of educating your customers, because they don't necessarily know the time frame that they should be coming back. It's usually, oh, okay, I saw a light go on, now I'm reactive about everything rather than being proactive. So setting that expectation first and foremost, and then having the tools to schedule the next appointment, send those reminders. Like you said, one trip out of a majority of your customers added each year is a lot of money to be had for each of these shops.
It's game changing for a shop. And the more we educate our vehicle owners about their vehicles, and the more they feel like they're in control, well, one, we're going to build better relationships with them.
Sure.
And we're going to build more trust. So now think about it. They're more likely to visit us. And there's a lot of shops that don't take that extra time to do all these things. And I think it really hurts their business.
Absolutely. And I think, it comes back to the whole idea when people think of raising their car count, a lot of people are like, okay, we got to throw money into marketing. We got to throw money into this. And of course, that's a way to get your name out there, bring in new customers. But if you're bringing back repeat customers, you're getting more vehicles into your shop on a consistent basis. And based on that experience, your customers then become your best marketing tactic by sharing it with their friends and their family, saying, hey, you know what? I had a really great experience here. I want to come back. And that's another way to add to your car count.
Yeah, and that's one of the things we talk about is, getting a customer in an extra visit per year. What does it do for our business? Well, the better the relationships you build, the more likely they are to refer you to another friend or family member. There's a lot of things we can find out from our customers. So think about it. Mrs. Jones comes in.
Sure.
She's married. There has to be another car in the family. Maybe there's vehicles in the family for the children. Now we might have a family that has 3 cars instead of just 1 car. Well, now there's 3 cars we can service. And it's a lot less expensive to maintain and grow your existing customer base than it is to market to new customers. Now, when we get those new customers in, that is wonderful.
Sure.
But all these advanced features or items that we're doing also will wow that new customer. What do we do different? What separates us from our competitors? And that's where a lot of this technology stops the vehicle owner, and they can really say, oh, this shop's really on top of their game here. So it's really game changing.
Yeah, so I think what it really comes down to, it's rather than focusing on one or the other, you really have the opportunity to increase both your car count and your average repair order. And there's practical steps that we can do each and every day to assure that we're reaching these goals.
Yeah, listen, our customers, and we've been fortunate enough from 2012 to here in 2019 to go from a couple hundred customers to thousands of customers. And we're not just a vendor to our customers, right? We partner with their business.
Yes,
we want to see
absolutely.
success. We want them to do great. And the more we can educate our shop owners and give them resources to help them out with the software, the better in turn they are with their customers. And ultimately what happens, it's a win-win for everyone. You can increase your business. And that's why we built that university class 3 years ago. It allows shop owners to get out of their element, to get out of their shop and spend 2 days with us uninterrupted, no distractions, and really focus on learning. It doesn't mean we don't do training while the shops are in their shop, but it's so easy to have the phone ring, or you miss 10 minutes of a webinar, and then you're kind of wasted the whole webinar. So, but we have a ton of resources here to make our shops successful.
Absolutely. Well, I know after this, talking about all these opportunities for growth, we're automotivated over here at Bolts On Technology, and we want to know if you are too. We'll be back for another episode of Automotivated. As always, please feel free to leave us some comments on topics that you think are really, really important or want to learn more about. But until next time, Frank, thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone, for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And we will talk to you next time. Thanks, everyone.
Take care.